This new moon is very special because it doesn't just bring together the sun and the moon. It also forms a beautiful triple conjunction with Jupiter, the planet connected with growth, with expansion. And if new moons are traditionally associated with new starts and planting seeds, expect this time around powerful new beginnings, life-changing resolutions that can propel you into your soul's true and authentic path. So if you want to know how this full moon will affect your life, stay with me. Hello everyone, my name is Sidonia Amado and I'm an intuitive astrologer. If you enjoy this type of content, please don't forget to like and subscribe for more. And also, share it with starseeds that may need this message. Astrology is a tool that has greatly helped me and supported me in my healing path, and I'm honored and use it to guide you and support you in your journey as well. If you would like me to take a look into your chart, I also give private astrology consultations. I'll leave a link for this down below. So now let's dive into the reading. So you can see here the chart of the new moon at the exact moment when the sun, the moon and Jupiter come together. So firstly, we need to understand what is the underlying core theme or story that is being told by this full moon. What is the energetic imprint that is being played in the background? And in order to know that, we need to understand the sign of Cancer. So what is Cancer? Cancer is considered to be our foundation because it's the sign that is strongly imprinted by everything that happens in the first early stages of our lives. And it's in Cancer placements and in the fourth house, the house associated with Cancer, where you will see these imprints most strongly influencing your life and your behavior. So in order to help us to best understand what drives Cancerian behavior, let's analyze one of the archetypes that best represents it, the archetype of the mother. Cancer is considered to be our foundation, not just because it's in our mother's womb that we first take form, but also because it's later on with the help of the mother and the family unit that we learn our first steps on what is to be a human being. And it's in Cancer and in the fourth house, the house number associated with Cancer, where you will find this strong imprint that was passed down to you by your family. This is also the placement where unfortunately you may have inherited family karma that may have been passed down to you through your DNA by your ancestors. So this is where you may manifest irrational phobias, deep emotional pain that you cannot explain, subconscious traumas and fears. Subconscious fears and trauma may also be passed down to the baby during pregnancy. If the mother, for example, didn't have an easy birth process, or if she experienced during pregnancy mistreatment or some kind of trauma, or it can be as simple as if the mother didn't eat properly, drink or smoke too much, or was under constant stress, or feeling always afraid or frightened. These emotions, these feelings are automatically passed down to the little baby because in this stage the baby is not aware of himself and it's in a symbiotic relationship with the mother, receiving everything from her, including feeling her emotions as it was its own. And the baby, when it grows as an adult, it carries this trauma imprints that is not as individual consciously aware of where this is coming from. So the Cancer house and the fourth house in your chart, in your birth chart, are some of the most important placements for you to analyze if you would like to understand yourself, or if you would like to use astrology in order to do therapy. Especially if you have planets in these houses, in these placements, and depending on how they are aspected, this will give you clues on how those early stages of your life may have been and what are the phobias and traumas that you may have been displaying that are related to those early stages of life. And of course, if you have planets that are badly aspected in these placements, you may have had a more difficult childhood, or a more difficult pregnancy, or even a more difficult inherited family karma that you will have to work with. And you would have to go through a process of cleaning up this karma, cleaning up these memories, these imprints, in order to transform them into something positive, into something healing, into something that you can use as a stepping stone, so that you can create a stronger foundation for yourself as an individual. This is why the life path of Cancer, it is said to be one of becoming its own family, one of reparenting themselves. Because the individual may have a lot of phobias and a lot of fears that he may not understand, that may have formed a foundation that is shaky, or it's confusing, or that don't provide the individual the confidence to go out there in life and to relate in a healthy way. And the individual needs to learn to reparent himself, needs to learn to understand himself, and to find strength and a self-assurance in themselves in order to be able to relate healthily with others, in order to be able to give in a healthy way to others, and to have healthy relationships, in order to have healthy families themselves. The individual will need to become their own fortress and create a stronger foundation, going through this process of revision, of self-analysis, of self-understanding. And through this process, the individual will find renewed strength, renewed self-assurance, renewed self-reliance, and learn to become their own fortress, learn to become not just strong from the outside, but strong from the inside as well. And the strong shell is like the mother's belly, protecting your inner world that is still processing, still forming, still structuring, still finding its own way. So you can say that it's a lifelong gestation process. This is the placement where we also will be super protective of ourselves, the things we love and value. And it's important to understand that although emotions and feelings in our society are many times wrongly considered as weakness, and Cancer sign, unfortunately because of the same reason, wrongly stereotyped many times as being a weak sign, the Cancer sign is actually one of the strongest signs of the zodiacal, because of the importance, the profundity, and the weight of what it holds and what it tries to protect. Did any of you ever heard the stories of what mothers are capable to do in order to protect their own child when it's being threatened? How they can find superhuman strength, lift weights 3 times above their own size, fight intruders, face danger without any hesitation, and endure excruciating pain. This is Cancer. Just look at the animal it represents. It has a strong armor. It has strong claws that can cut deep and hold on with tenacity and not let go unless it wants to. So Cancer is in all word of the sign, a warrior sign, and a feminine warrior sign. So for this new moon, for you, especially as an individual, it's important that you take in consideration everything that was mentioned before. Because during this new moon, you may have this aspect strongly activated. You may have to work again and review again these subconscious patterns, things that have to do with your ancestry, with your family, with things that you don't even remember, but they are happening, appearing in your life, and these subconscious fears and traumas, and you will have a chance to start a new beginning and maybe a new foundation, maybe to find new renewed strength and new renewed self-assurance, and have the chance to become your own fortress and to start becoming your own parent and your own family, and in its place Be ready now to start a family or to start a healthy relationship with a loved one. Or, in other hand, to end an unhealthy karmic cycle, to end an unhealthy relationship, to end a cycle of phobias and fears that you do not understand, and you are able during this new moon maybe to let those things go and to transform and transmute this energy and maybe turn them into stepping stones, turning into healing energy. So now we understand what are the possible effects of the new moon at the individual level. Let's see at a worldwide level. How is this new moon is going to affect at a worldwide level, taking into account the energy of Cancer? Well, societies and groups, the same as individuals, have a foundation that didn't necessarily have a smooth start. Our societies and our groups were not formed now. They were formed long time ago in conditions and environments completely different from what we have right now. However, as society and groups, we perpetuate many times many of the behaviors, many of ways of relating that we have developed and structured during that time that were pertaining to the conditions that were in effect at that time. We may have also subconscious phobias and patterns as a collective group that do not make sense necessarily in the context of the world we live today, that may have originated with the beginning or the origin of our societies, of our nations. So the same as individual societies need to go and may be undergoing now through a reparenting process in which the society and us as groups will be asking ourselves, does this still make sense? Is this still valid now? Or are we acting and repeating the patterns of behavior and displaying fears and phobias that we have inherited from the people that founded our societies? And if it doesn't make sense, should we restructure it? Should we make some changes? Should we cut out certain things? Is the foundation rotten? Is the foundation something that we need to replace completely? These are the questions that may be coming to storefront during this new moon for us at a worldwide level, as society, as groups. As some things may become evident and apparent, they are just a repetition of something that is outdated and it's not valid, it's not useful, it's not practical, it's not helping us to progress or to unite and to relate as human beings. Maybe it's only causing division and separation and confusion, things that do not make sense anymore in the context of the world we live today. So during this new moon, the sun, the moon, and Jupiter will come together. The moon represents our inner world, our emotions, our private affairs, our secrets, the things that we know about ourselves that we do not necessarily want to share with the world. And the sun represents our social mask, our ego, our persona, how we go about ourselves in the world. And Jupiter is the planet associated with growth, with expansion. It expands everything it touches, the good and sometimes, unfortunately, the bad. As this triple conjunction and new moon will be happening in the sign of Cancer, expect it to be deeply emotional and deeply felt. We may come during this new moon as individuals or as society to some kind of realization. Something may become clear. Something may come into alignment. We may come into some kind of realization as individuals or as society. This is the time you can heal your family karma, clear your past, and build a new and stronger foundation. This new moon will be making 3 major aspects. It will be squaring the Saturn and Neptune conjunction in Aries. It will be sextiling Mars in Virgo. And it will be trining Lilith in Scorpio. Besides these aspects, we also will have, at the time of the new moon, Mercury opposing Pluto, squaring Chiron, and trine in the Saturn and Neptune conjunction. I know, right? Like the triple new moon conjunction was not enough. Don't worry, I will explain. So firstly, let's start with the aspect directly impacting this new moon, the Saturn and Neptune conjunction. For those of you that don't know, Saturn and Neptune have been conjunct since last month, and Saturn being the planet responsible for difficulties, delays, maturity, and integrity, now being conjunct Neptune, the planet that represents our dreams and fantasies, has initiated a slow process of awakening from our illusions. And this being the fiery sign of Aries, the warrior sign, let's just say that there has been some broken furniture. So all of us as individuals and as a society and groups, we have been going through this process in which we have been maybe experiencing this abrupt waking up towards a maybe not so pleasant reality. And with all this fiery energy being restricted by Saturnian blockages and delays, we may all have been bottling up some things, and some people may be experiencing some blowing up effects. Now that Jupiter is in Cancer, this situation is so much more aggravated and amplified, because Jupiter amplifies everything it touches. And in a square aspect, it amplifies the negative and most destructive effects, unfortunately. And if Aries as a sign is a sign that heats up easily but forgets also easily, this now has been changed because Cancer, with Cancer involved, feelings are getting hurt and the situation has become now personal. And the new moon squaring this conjunction together with Jupiter may lead us into some powerful realization moment or some dramatic culmination point, especially in regards to some of the themes that have been activated with these planetary shifts. So expect some dramatic exits, maybe some emotional outpours, but also perhaps some heartfelt love declaration and newfound allegiances and associations. This new moon will also be sextiling Mars in Virgo. Mars that represents our driving force, our action power, the way we go and get the things we want out there in the world, our warrior spirit, will be in the Virgo sign, the sign that is considered to be a priestess sign, a healer sign. So expect a big focus during this new moon towards our health, towards our ability to serve in the world, towards our work, towards our service, towards our environment, towards how we take care of ourselves, of our body, of our environment, and the people around us. During this new moon, we have the potential to channel this new moon energy in order to transform and better these areas of our lives. Not just with the efficiency and practicality of Virgo, but also with the emotional, caring, and protective side of Cancer. So let's just say that during this new moon, you may find the strength and the motivation and the supportive energies in order to make your environment better. Start a new career path that is more aligned with you, or quit an unhealthy work situation. You may win over a health issue, or start a new workout routine, or even quit a bad habit. As Virgo is associated with detailed work and the work of service, almost like a surgeon or a scalpist, you may find new renewed love and appreciation for the small things in your life. And you may begin to understand during this time how those small things are important, how these small things have helped you to build a strong foundation and have helped you to become strong as an individual. And you may find this new renewed appreciation for those things in your life. In the same way, you may see how certain small bad habits done in a long period of time have negatively impacted your well-being, and you may decide to cut them out from your life and not overlook them anymore. Lilith has been until now traveling in a square position with Pluto, which has been bringing to the surface a lot of our suppressed needs and repressed emotions that are pertaining to our repressed desires and repressed feelings. And now during this new moon, the good news is that this square will be slowly ending and Lilith will start a trine, will initiate a trine aspect with Jupiter in Cancer. So this will help us to use the caring and nurturing energy of Jupiter in Cancer and the transformative power of Scorpio to bring light into those subconscious patterns that we may have repressed and that are manifesting without our knowledge or without our consent in our life. And it can help us to heal those parts, to integrate them, to reclaim them back, and also to acknowledge and recognize and have the courage to integrate our needs and our desires, and be brave enough to going forward, start taking steps to pursue those things in our lives. This trine, this beautiful trine, can help us to finally become a whole self, to finally accept all the part of ourselves, even the repressed ones, and to be able to align with a more authentic expression of ourselves and to pursue a more authentic path as well. I also want to mention for this forecast the aspects that Mercury will be doing during this new moon. Mercury, that is the planet connected with our communication, with the way we move in society, our transportation, our technology, our media, our information, even our finances, will be unfortunate during the new moon, squaring Chiron and opposing Pluto. This may also bring out these subconscious repressed feelings and emotions from the subconscious mind, especially because Pluto is in Aquarius, and Aquarius represents the sign that is connected with humanity, with the people, and with our need for freedom. And this will be squaring Mercury and squaring Chiron that is connected with our pains and our wounds. So expect that these frustrations, the suppressed needs for freedom, and our pains and our wounds that are connected with our ego, with the Aries sign, because Chiron is in Aries, may be expressed during this new moon through Mercury, through our speech, through our media. So there may be some painful exchanges, some more aggressive or abrupt communications that can be hurtful. So this will be interesting to see how this will play out during this new moon. But speech, communication, and the sharing and communicating of pains, hurdles, feelings, and frustrations, maybe sometimes in a more abrupt and unexpected way, can happen during this new moon, can be an effect. The positive news is that Mercury in Cancer will be trining the Saturn and Neptune conjunction in Aries. This means that we can use our communication to help raise awareness. We can use our communication in a caring and nurturing and supportive way with the maturity and integrity and discipline and responsibility of Saturn to bring awareness into those Aryan and Cancerian themes that maybe are more heated during this time. And we can help to bring clarity, support, healing, and understanding, not just to ourselves, but to everybody around us. So this is it for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed this forecast. Don't forget to like and subscribe and share it with star seeds that may need this message. If you would like to have a more holistic and more complete overview of the current celestial events, I also invite you to watch my videos of the entry of Jupiter in Cancer, and as well the entry of Neptune and Saturn in Aries and the Saturn-Neptune conjunction. Thank you so much for joining me today. I wish you all the best for this new moon. Much love.